Hey, ghouls and goblins, because it is Halloween today. We're going to have, I would say, a special episode, but every episode's special with the Hardcore Honeys. But welcome back, as today we will see we have Jade Auxiliary Things Johnson. So how was your first response to, how was your first response to the opening week of NBA ball?
As always, I watched so much basketball this week, like almost as much as I could. I took yesterday off of basketball, but every other day for the last week since we were here, I've watched at least like a game and a half to 2 games of basketball. I'm so excited.
How are you watching every two games a night? Do you have like League Pass right now, or
I have streaming sources of questionable legality.
but do they have the express written consent by the NBA?
I don't know.
Don't come for us, Adam Silver. Focus
Ignorance
on
is bliss.
Has it met the expectations, or it has even gone better? Has it gone lower?
I think it's just kind of like we're still ramping up. Like it's only been a week. It's an early week. I know certain fans, including my own fans of the Raptors, are losing their minds a little bit. I'm going to talk about that in home teams a little bit more. But I think it's just nice to have basketball back. I think it's way too early to feel any kind of way about anything right now.
I've just been going la 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 on the Timberwolves fan pages with stuff because I don't know with it. But and I'm sure you guys noticed that we do not have Shay today. She's not here because she's going to be doing some fun stuff that she's already got planned in an undisclosed location, also known as Bolivia. Just kidding. But she will be here for next week, but don't worry, we still have our Twitter time corner that she usually runs because we need still laughs from the jokester that she is. So today, when we go right into it, don't forget to follow us on our socials at Hardcore Honeys on Instagram, Hardcore Honeys also on Facebook and YouTube, and then at HC Honeys on Twitter. All right, so I think we already know what's going to be talked about today. It just happened last night, and thank the Lord it did, because now I had something to bring up in conversation today. So it is the James Harden going from Philadelphia to the Clippers. So first of all, hopefully this will be the end of what we hear from at least this kind of saga. So first we're going to be diving into the Eastern Conference. We'll be diving into the Philly side with it all. So we have Philadelphia, our favorite team in the NBA. Fans, the greatest that can be. Losing as much as we can't stand Harden, have they stepped down with the trade? And I'm going to break down the trade real quick first.
Yep.
So the 76ers sent Harden, PJ Tucker, and another player, Philip Petrusev, to the Clippers for Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, who is returning back to the Sixers, former one, Nick Batum, KJ Martin, a 2028 unprotected first-round pick, 2 second-round picks, a 2029 swap, an additional first-round pick, which is from the Oklahoma City Thunder. So, once again, a pick that involves the Thunder. We'll be hearing that.
So Oklahoma only has 300 picks in the next 10 years instead of
exactly. They don't have. Not even their dynasty is going to be going as long as like the Ottoman Empire. It'll be going on forever. It'll just be cycling through stuff. But all right, with this trade, you lose a former MVP. As much as we hate saying it, Harden still is a talent, and the players that you're getting in return. Is that still a win now team?
So I think it's a win now team kind of irrespective of all the Harden stuff, because Embiid is, in the prime of his career right now. He's the reigning MVP, even though I wholeheartedly disagree with that decision, and I always will for the end of time. It should have been Jokic again, but I don't get to make the
Side
decision.
question with that: if Jokic didn't have his season, would you still think MVP or Embiid is the MVP?
I don't think Embiid is the MVP.
You don't. Okay, so go on.
Joker should have been last. I thought Joker should have.
Well, yes, we all agree Joker should have, but
yeah. As far as things go, yes, because they need to maximize on his prime years. He still seems to be happy in Philadelphia, having been drafted there. But I don't think that sticks if they are not able to make a real push to get to the finals. And I think that I think they could afford to lose Harden. I think the drama and the turmoil and the lack of work ethic, the lack of professionalism that comes from Harden, you have addition by subtraction when you lose James Harden from the Sixers. I think Maxey is going to step up big. I think he's ready to step into a bigger role. I think he is someone that has been held back a bit by playing behind Harden. Tobias Harris is playing really good to start the season. Like, my roommate and I were watching the Raptors Sixers game, and my roommate was like, man, if he had played like this the whole time, he would have actually deserved that contract that he got. So that's been an interesting step as far as like the vacuum of space that they now have to fill with Harden gone. And like, honestly, the Sixers look pretty good. Like they don't look like they miss Harden on the floor early in the season.
Like it may look like a big player switch or talent switch over just because it's a former MVP, but when you look at the players that they got, that is some of the most consistent veteran role players in the league that they got, because Robert Covington's already knows the franchise, so he's already got a bit of an idea what's going on with it all. PJ Tucker, he fits wherever he goes.
Wherever he goes, PJ Tucker's going to be good for you.
He's just corner three, bump of people around, get people in the face. Marcus Morris, I think this is his second time around for the Clippers, or else it was his brother, Markieff.
I honestly can't remember which one it was.
Dude, have you heard the conspiracy theory that they did switch up for like the playoffs or something like that?
I mean, I understand where it came from because I can't remember if it was both of them or only one of them, but like on a clip on a podcast talking about how like, yeah, we can't talk about how the times that we switched when we were growing up. So it kind of seems like the next natural evolution of that conversation for them to be like, oh yeah, they switched in the playoffs. And I don't believe that for a second, but I get where
it's a great theory,
where it comes from.
It's one of those pointless ones that gets your interest, but it's really not affecting anybody in the end. Or at least like
it's just something fun to talk about. Also, there's like 3 sets of twins in the NBA right now.
So we have Amen and I can't remember his other brother.
Asur.
Okay, so that's one. Markieff and Marcus.
Yeah. Oh, Brooke and Rob, but they're not twins. Are they twins?
Brooke and Robin Lopez.
And there's one more. One of them played for the Hornets last year, and I can't remember where the other one was.
Caleb and Josh McDaniels, I think his name is, and Jaden McDaniels.
I didn't know. I didn't realize. I knew they were brothers. I did not realize they were twins.
I think they're actually twins, but I think I think it's the Martin is the other brother on Miami.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So
Caleb Martin and I can't remember the other one's name, but like, damn, that's a lot of twins in one league.
I wish I wouldn't have mentioned all that because that would have been a great part. That would have been a great fast break question.
It would have been because I would not.
Right?
I would have got 3. I would have got it wrong for sure.
Hey, but we had to do our own little breakdown to even think about it. But how does Embiid dive even more, or how is he going to be able to mix up and get Maxey involved? Because Maxey is a much different player than Harden.
So I think Maxey should be running that offense.
Okay.
Embiid should be the number one scoring option, but the offense should run through Maxey. He's fast. He has great handles, good passing. I think his court vision could be better, but I think that will come with time. But like, yeah, I think Maxey should be like almost like a pure point guard. We don't have too many of them left in the NBA. We don't have a lot of young guys who are like that, but I think Maxey in that position is the best option for the Sixers as they're built right now.
I used to always get Maxey, Terrence Mann, and Emmanuel Quickly. Not necessarily as a player, but which team they played on. I used to get all three of them mixed together because those are three players that each of those teams are like, yeah, we're not going to, any trade that's involved, they're not involved with that trade. Like, I'm surprised they were able to pull off that trade without throwing Terrence Mann with it, or at least coming in with a with another team with it.
But I mean, I think that tells you how important it is to move Harden out of Philly so that they can get on with their season.
Well, that's pretty much with everything with involved. Everyone just wants to gets on with their season if they ever have to deal with James Harden.
Yeah.
I'm sure that locker room feels so much looser.
Yeah.
So much looser. Just
like even if he wasn't actively, grumpy or whatever he could be, that you could walk in and see that tension, that awkwardness of, okay, what are we doing? Is he going to be here? Is he going to play? Is he like, just that being gone in and of itself is going to open things up for the Sixers. That's energy they don't have to spend on that anymore.
So Nick Nurse, we all love him. He is in Philadelphia. Don't know why, but he is. So they're essentially getting almost a whole new team right at the beginning of the season. Is this actually going to benefit the team a little bit more just because, everyone is learning my system at the same time instead of I have to reteach a system to players plus teach my system? Is that actually going to, in the long run, benefit them?
I think it is. I think it was really smart of the Philly front office. And this is not a phrase I say very often, so mark it on the calendar. I think it was very smart of the Philly front office to just do what they needed to do to get it done early, not wait till the trade deadline, not wait till partway through the season. Like, it's almost like they're getting a fresh start to the season. It's only been a week.
Exactly. So, and I mean, honestly, they already probably dealt with half a season with his experience with it, dealing with Harden. So where does this then place Philly in the conference? Did they go up? Did they drop a little bit? Or are they still hovering around the same spot that they're going to be before?
I put them around the same spot behind Milwaukee.
So like a fourth seed, maybe?
I think they could do second.
They can bump up second
in the East. Milwaukee. Who's going to beat them other than Milwaukee?
Boston.
No, that's true. Maybe Boston. Boston will definitely be in the mix. They've started out well as well. The Jays had a ridiculous game last night. But Boston. But below that, you got Cleveland, New York. Like,
New York's going to be tired.
New York's, like, I'm not convinced that they're outside of Boston and Milwaukee. Like, to me, Boston, Milwaukee, 76ers, that's 1 through 3 in some order.
Because I thought about Miami for a second, but that team,
I don't trust Miami. I don't trust Miami. And what they did last year, I don't see them repeating that. I just don't see it.
That was a nice Cinderella story with it all, but
Butler's too old. Kyle Lowry's too old.
Kevin Love's too
old. And their other pieces are not consistent enough. Like, if you are a team that you have to rely on Jimmy Butler, like, you cannot hope to be better than an 8 seed making a miraculous playoff run. You can't plan based on that.
And like Bam I've been checking him out. Bam's been starting out great, but also I don't think he's a franchise player.
Yeah, there's something about Bam that just isn't quite.
He's like a LaMarcus Aldridge kind of with me.
Yeah. He's always going to be productive. He's always going to show up and do his job, but he's not
an
the
A-
guy.
player. He's an
not
A-
the guy.
player.
Yes. Yeah.
Comes in day in and day out, does the job, is going to make a handful of all-star games, going to prove some worth places, but never officially able to get over the hump being a lead man in a show.
Yep.
So,
I agree.
Well, I think we broke down the Philly side pretty much because they have, since like we were saying, they have a brand new team with a brand new coach. It's a fresh beginning with it. So I think it's going to be more curious on how the team is going to look down later on in the season, which will probably, I don't know if it's sadly this time since it won't be with James Harden, but it is still Philadelphia. So it's going to be a torn conversation with it.
It's still Philadelphia.
It's still Philadelphia. So on that note, still Philadelphia. Then we're going to swing over to talking about teams that we like with our own because it makes us so much happier.
Oops. That's not supposed to be on loop. All right, home teams this week. We have 1 week of the NBA season in the books. As we talked about last week, we are turning our home team segment into a little bit of an in-show competition this week. So I have graphics. We're going to start with Shay since Shay is not here with us today. So this is, that's this week's predictions. Wait a second. I need last week for Shay. Here we go. So Shay is kicking our butts so far this week, Taylor. She predicted both of her games correctly this week, a loss to the Mavericks and a win against the Hornets. So
was that loss to the Mavericks that crazy shot that Luka hit?
I think so, yeah. Yeah. Man, Luka to start the season. If Dallas plays decently, if they get the wins, like I know it's early, but he is looking like he's on his way to an MVP season if Dallas can get the wins this year, finally.
And I've been watching him and Kyrie play has been pretty fun.
Has it? I haven't watched Dallas yet. They're on my list.
Pretty fun. The little bit that I've watched, they have a rookie big guy who is really really bouncing above expectations to a point where Luka accidentally swore on television, dropping the F-bomb with it. So he's just like, oh, yeah, because he was just like, yeah, he was effing killing it today. Oh no.
Oops.
Like, don't worry.
All right, so congratulations in absentia, Shay. I'm sure you're going to watch this back later. You took week 1 from both of us. We're going to jump over to Taylor's week 1 predictions now. Taylor's a rough opening week.
Did I even get one right?
You didn't get any of them right.
I didn't get
only because, right. But the Wolves do have a win, so that's good. But you thought that you beat the Raptors, you did not. Yeah.
Both losses were terrible.
But they
Both losses were terrible.
I mean, and the Raptors, I'll be the first to say it. Our win over the Timberwolves was not, there was no punctuation mark on that win. It was just a W, and we'll take it.
Like, I was talking with my mom, and she's the one, even though her limited basketball knowledge, she was the one that instilled with me, if you win the rebounds, free throws, or turnover game. If you can at least win 2 of those, you win the game.
Yeah.
We won every single category except tied for turnovers.
Yeah.
And we still lost.
The Raptors are forcing turnovers like nobody's business so far. There's a lot of work they need to do, but their defense has been on point.
Oh, we had 6 unforced turnovers when I was watching the highlights with it. One of them was, so Kyle Anderson is like one of the few guys on the team that I'm like, if he gets the ball, let him control it. I don't care who else is on the court. Let him control it. He tripped over his own feet and he
Good.
hit the ball out of bounds.
Yep.
What? That happened to like 2 other times where another time, I think it was, who was it? I can't remember. Passed the ball out of bounds.
Yeah. Listen, it was the first game of the season. It was not pretty on either side.
Both teams looked, I mean, on my team much more than you, but both teams kind of looked rough.
Yep.
Both teams,
and that's okay. That's okay. It was only week 1. So
both team had bad shooting nights.
Yes. Well, the Raptors are having a bad shooting start of the season, which is a good segue because I didn't do very much better than you. Raptors went 1-3 this week, and I have a rule about predicting losses the first week of the season. I refuse to do it. So
you got real cocky on that one. Jeez Louise.
I didn't actually expect them to win all this. I did expect them to beat the Bulls. I did expect them to beat the Blazers. Yeah, I don't like predicting losses the first week of the season. So I'll take the hit on that. But that makes me second. My season record's 250. Shay with the perfect record. So good for her. Taylor, your wins are coming. They're coming. So with that, we will move to, we also predicted we're tracking win totals this season. So this one will be quick. So Shay's got 1 of 42 wins so far for the season. That puts her at, I think it's 2.4%. I'm just trying to get rid of this for a minute here. There we go. Shay's got 2.4% of her wins. I've got, this is the wrong one. This is the one I was messing with. So we have 1. So I've got about 2% as well. And Taylor's got 1% of his 46 wins. So we're all in about the same spot as far as our win total predictions for the season. It is an even race so far. We will see who gets there first this year. So
that Bulls team is something to look at this year, not because of talent, but just where that team goes.
What are they? I don't know what is going on with the Bulls right now. I'm pretty annoyed that we lost to them the way that we did, but
just
they got some stuff to figure out in Chicago.
Just saw the saddest notification. Lonzo Ball hasn't played since he was 22.
How old is he
turning
now?
26 next
month. I did not realize it had been that long. Like I knew it had been a long time.
Lonzo shoes. I blame the shoes that he had starting out.
I also blame all the reps too young.
That too.
Growing up. I don't think Lonzo is the only NBA player that is being impacted by that right now.
By the constant year-round pushing yourself so much that there's only so much that a person should be doing in a year, and
especially when your body is still growing and developing, and I think it's just too much.
No, it's
aging their bodies prematurely because of all the reps.
Yeah, because LaMelo doesn't look like he is. What is he? 21.
Yeah, maybe. No, he doesn't.
He doesn't look. He looks. But that I feel so bad for the guy. We've been always team. I mean, we haven't been Team LeVar, but we've been Team Lonzo.
Team Lonzo, yeah.
Team Lonzo. Even though he got drafted by the Lakers, that was kind of a forced draft because, well, he came from UCLA. He's the biggest face as like a high school student going in. Like his dad is LeVar. But it's the poor guy.
I'm still keeping my fingers crossed for him, but like at a certain point, it's like I don't know how realistic.
Do you start maybe a coaching career because you still should be somehow involved with the NBA?
Something, yeah. All right, so let's go to our upcoming week's games. We will start with Shay again. So Shay is at the Heat, at the Bulls, versus the Celtics, and versus the Bucks this week. Shay's predicted wins against the Heat and Bulls, losses against the Celtics and Bucks. So we will revisit this again next week, see how she did. Taylor, the Timberwolves are home all week long. to the Nuggets, the Jazz, and the Celtics. What do you think?
LWL.
LWL. That seems reasonable. I was just, when I was putting this together, I was thinking about the Jazz because, like, 2 seasons ago, it seemed like the Jazz were about to do something. And now they're just the Jazz again.
Then they blew it up. And then, kind of at one point, so they got all this stuff, but a lot of the pieces that they got are gone.
Yeah.
Like for the Rudy trade, I don't think there's a single player that's still on the team that's been playing. Or like,
Yeah,
they've all gone to other teams,
Yeah.
Role players again. It was a situation where, like, I guess we were getting kind of the best out of the players. Like Jared Vanderbilt's still a hustler guy. You can't take that out of a guy. But like Malik Beasley, he is back of bench for the Bucks to what I know of with it. Just other guys that we threw in aren't in the league in general anymore. So really the only thing can really bite us in the butt, which is going to bite us in the butt for a long time, is the draft picks.
Yes.
But hopefully if we do well, we don't got to worry about draft picks.
Well, I mean, like we've been talking about a lot, there's going to be every year there's going to be more places to get talented basketball players that aren't the draft. And that's going to be really important for teams like the Raptors don't have a lot of picks coming up either. And teams like the Timberwolves who've traded away a lot of their picks. It's going to be important to find other sources to get players, and it's going to be better for the game. I can't wait until, like, I think the medium distant future of the NBA is that, like, the draft is like, yeah, we still do a draft, but
there's a total other thing.
Yes.
Like we've been saying with like Freddie Van Fleet, it's not gonna be as uncommon anymore to see.
No, I mean, look at all the undrafted guys that were on that Miami roster last season.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Multiple. So like, the future of the NBA is different, and the draft is not it.
And those guys got their bag. So like Strus and Vincent, they got their bag.
Good for them.
And honestly, yes, whenever I see like the undrafted guys, like like you want to be like, I want to win a championship. But then when you're that young, you're just like, also like, I'm going to grab the bag first. Like,
for sure.
Let's set myself up for the future.
My family. Yeah, for sure.
I still have a good chunk of time, but say something happens, I still got the money.
And there's going to be more money every year. People forget about that. There's always more money.
Exactly. It's the contracts, endorsements they change too, and everything like that. But
all right. So to close out home teams, the Raptors this week, we got 3 games. We got the Bucks tomorrow. We gonna lose that. We got the Sixers. We gonna lose that. I'm gonna say a win against the Spurs just because they are a young team. And I'm hoping it's the kind of matchup that can get the Raptors a little bit of momentum. It's been rough. Our shooting has been pretty abysmal. Missed so many open looks in our first games of the season. Like, if we had got 30% of the ones we missed, we win all the games that we lost.
Who is like a go-to shooter for the
Raptors? We don't have one right now. We don't have anybody that's making it consistently enough. That said, with a little more rep, I think by All-Star break-ish, our rookie Grady Dick might be able to be that guy. Not only is he a great shooter, but he's going to be an excellent all-around basketball player.
He's got the swagger.
He's got the swagger. He makes the right decisions. He doesn't get flustered out there. He's very cool, calm, and collected. He makes the right passes. He makes the right reads. So I'm pretty excited to see him develop, especially because shooting has been a massive issue for us. But that said, the Raptors fan base is losing their minds right now on Twitter. Just like, oh, is it too early to start talking about tanking? Yes, it's too early to start talking about tanking. It's been 1 week, 4 games, 4.878% of games for the season is what the Raptors have played.
Nerd.
Can we chill? Can we please chill on all the doom and gloom and how terrible everything's going to be? We knew it was going to be a tough season. It's not easy to adjust to a whole new offense. It's not an easy thing to do, and it is a whole new offense. There are no similarities to what they were doing last year.
Because it's a brand new coach.
It's a brand new coach, and he's an international coach, right? So it's even another level of separation between hiring maybe another American coach.
Got to do the six degrees to Kevin Bacon on this one.
Exactly. So let's take a chill pill, Raptors fans. Please, for the love of basketball, give them a beat to get their feet under them. Give Siakam some time, because he's making the biggest adjustment to the offense of anybody left on the roster. It might not be a great season, but like it's too early. It's too early to say that we need to tank and go for picks. Also, Masai's never going to do that. So yeah, rant over. Time to go back over to you.
I was going to say, speaking of rants, here's about the guy that we've ranted about a lot with James Harden, except now we're going to the West Coast side. We're going to be hitting with the Clips. So start off with it. Where do the Clippers now fit in the Western Conference race? Are they now a front runners for it, or are they still a team that gets to the second round, but for some reason they fail?
So I'm going with the second option for a few reasons. One, James Harden. There's no guarantee that James Harden fits with this team. There's no guarantee that James Harden gets along with Kawhi Leonard. I would actually be quite surprised if James Harden and Kawhi Leonard get along. And I'm not even talking really about basketball. I'm talking about personal relationships, and that crap matters. Also, you got to wonder, how healthy is Kawhi going to be? How healthy is Paul George going to be? Are they even going to be available? So like the Clippers are one of those teams for me that's just like, listen, you've been trying to trade and free agent your way into relevancy for 10 years now. Blow it up, rebuild your team.
And the thing is, they've been very successful when it comes to adjusting the team, getting the players that they had over the past decade.
Yeah.
That Lob City team should have won a title. That was one of the most complete teams in the 2010s. One of the most complete teams. So Clippers, once again, botching what could be a situation like this. This is now Harden's going back to where they're going to be forming a big three. PG's already said he's fine to being Robin to Kawhi's Batman. Is Harden going to be okay being Alfred? This is the same situation before. It was Kevin Durant and Kyrie, and then he was the third one. He's not going to be the first one, even the second one. So where is this big three hierarchy?
It does go back a little bit to injuries. If we assume that either Kyrie or Paul George will be injured towards the tail end of the season and into the playoffs, then that moves Harden into a number 2 spot, depending how those other two guys are. If all three are healthy and James Harden has to be number 3, I think it really comes down to me is how much does James Harden really want to win? If you really want to win and you think the Clippers are the place to do it, which apparently he does because that's where he wanted to go, then I think along with that, he needs to be willing to take whatever role is given him, right? He's the one that keeps joining organizations, actually, how do I want to say this? He keeps joining programs already in progress. So I think when you're continually doing that and you are not proving yourself to be a professional player, proving yourself to be a guy whose work ethic outweighs anything else, like someone like Kawhi Leonard is, you got to take what's available to you. You don't get to make demands in situations like that, in my opinion.
Is it a bad look for the league that Harden once again was able to get his way out of the team just in the fashion that he keeps on doing it?
I think it's not a great look for the league, but I don't think it is actively damaging. because not everyone's going to
Sorry,
be
my
James
computer's dying.
Harden. Not everyone is going to be James Harden. Thank goodness for that. But because everybody is not James Harden, I don't think you're going to see this over and over again. Also, you have to be a certain caliber of player, like we talked about. James Harden is been a scoring machine for his career. He's a former MVP. So without those accolades to go with it, I don't think another player gets the treatment. But it's also, I don't think another player gets the treatment unless they're that disruptive. And I don't think there are too many guys on that talent level up here whose professional level is down here. You have to have both of those things together for this Harden situation to be what it is. And I just don't think there's that many other players that fit that mold.
So speaking of the personalities, all the different ones. So is Ty Lue's job now just managing the personalities more so than the players? Because PG is a little bit more happy-go-lucky, but he's got the podcast. He's got a lot of other side things. He's got his thing. Kawhi Leonard, we all know that he quietly always gets his way. And then you have James Harden, who loudly gets his way. So why focusing on, I got to make sure these guys stay head in the game, or what is his expectations as a coach?
I think the most critical part at the beginning especially is, like you said, keeping their head in the game. I question whether a trade like this happens without Kawhi and PG's inputs. So I feel like they must at least have to be on board with it. And if they're on board with it, then I think it's easier for the rest of the team to get on board. But like, it's to the point where you just never know with James Harden whether he's going to give a crap this week or not. And I think that's hard for any coach to try and navigate, not knowing. Like, I just don't know how you don't question James Harden's commitment at this point. I think you kind of have to question.
It's been constantly his entire time within the league, and nothing has ever changed. It started even in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
He switched out. He didn't want to be there.
And then Houston ruined him because Houston, he was the golden child, and he spent however many years that was, like 7 or
8,
years?
Yeah, something like that.
7 or 8 years, getting whatever he wanted in Houston.
By Daryl Morey, too.
By Daryl Morey. And now,
the guy that's like the GM that didn't want to give in to. I think this is Daryl Morey's just giant middle finger being like, just screw you. I've been doing everything for you.
Everything you asked for, everything you wanted.
Everything. I got you here. And you do this to me in 2 seasons? No. Screw you. I'm going to send you where I want to, even though he got his way. But at the same time, like, he's just such. The only time I want to hear about him is if like he shaves his beard. That's the only time I want to hear about him.
All right. Well, then we should make a pact then. When we are done with this segment, no more James Harden, unless it's like, there's not going to be any reason to talk about James Harden for the rest of the season unless he tries to force another trade, which I honestly wouldn't put past him.
But it's the Clippers, it's Los Angeles. We're gonna eventually. It should be more so. Hopefully, we're just talking about the team and not the individual.
That would be a nice change of pace when it comes to James Harden.
But going back to the resting for Paul George and Kawhi, I forgot to ask this. With Harden there, is that going to actually be easier for Kawhi and Paul George so they can get the over 65 game stretch?
Yeah, I was thinking about that last night, honestly, in terms of both the 65 games, but also if they are injured, the Clippers don't take the same step back with Harden there. Because one thing I will say for Harden, his availability has never really been about his health. So chances are, and he got where he's where he wanted to be. So chances are he's going to be available. Like history dictates that he's not going to be super injured through the season. He doesn't play a style of basketball that lends himself to a lot of major injuries either. So I think it is in that category of availability and having extra scoring power and extra man that you can rely on to put the ball through the hoop is going to be a plus for them, provided that the ego and all the other personality stuff stays in check.
And I just remembered another ego on the team, Russell Westbrook.
Oh my gosh, I forgot Russ was there too.
I just remembered this right now.
Damn. Okay, so that is interesting because the four of them are like, it's like the old man crew showing up at the pickup spot.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Their window is like 2 years.
Yes.
It's like 2 years.
But if they can, they have a good shot to be high in the Western Conference, I think. If the four of them can come together and the role players do their jobs.
Those three that were already there with Kawhi, Paul George, and Russ, they were starting off pretty hot. Like Russ was wasn't like Russ, but it's definitely like, oh no, you are a nice third option for this team now. Like this is the Russell Westbrook that the Lakers were hoping that they were gonna get at least. And Lakers is a toxic franchise, so there we go. But I don't want to talk about the Lakers. I'm tired of talking about Harden stuff right now. Those are things that I can't stand. Like I said, next time we better hear about him. It's better got to be a shaved face. I want to see that weak chin. But I don't want to see that. But now we're going to be switching over to the Twitter reaction with the ghost of Shay, where she's not here, but she has given us tweeters.
So Shay did pick our tweets as always this week. Thank you for that, Shay. She was very adamant, all capital letters in our chat, that we do not look at these before right now, and we did not. So Shay, your genuine reactions are inbound. So this is the first one from @Sublime50.
Yes.
Sam Presti is the Bernie Madoff of future draft capital. Always gets his cut. That's funny since we already did talk a little bit about OKC and their draft situation.
Such a dork. He looks like such a nerd.
A lot of the front office
it doesn't
guys
matter, but have you ever heard of the artist? No, I never mind. I was gonna say he looks like the singer-songwriter Ben Folds, but just with slicked back hair, but no.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, I'm not crazy with it.
Yeah. No.
Okay,
that's funny.
I'm not expecting him to sing the song "Rockin' the Suburbs."
And it's funny with the Thunder, because I'm looking at their picks over the next few years, and it's like they don't even have the roster space for the picks that they have.
Oh no, that's why they're going to be tossing it around like hot potatoes. I'm honestly wondering, depending on how this plays out, if the NBA isn't going to have to introduce something new around draft picks. I've been saying since we did the trade, the Wolves have now messed up the off-season market now with just throwing picks away like we did.
Right, and it doesn't just affect the Wolves and the Thunder. Like this situation is going to have ripples league-wide.
It's the entire league is going to, because like I said, every team is asking for unprotected picks.
Yep.
They were asking for 4 unprotected picks.
Yep.
For Kevin Durant, and they still weren't able to do that.
So which brings us back around to our conversation about the draft again. I was talking to my friend Matt last night about this, and I said the draft is not the future of the NBA. The draft is the history of the NBA. Like we are at a point where things are swinging because we were talking about the Raptors needing picks if they decide they need to blow it up, which Masai's not going to do. But anyways, that's a different conversation. And he's like, don't we need picks to build for the future? I'm like, no, we don't. I said the G League is going to be a place where talent is going to develop. It bypasses the NCAA. That means there are a lot of players who couldn't afford to go to college, couldn't get college scholarships, who can now go and play professionally and support themselves and make money instead of being stuck in that school system.
Yep, you can go to the open tryouts for the team with it.
Right. And there's going to be real talent coming out of that. The other thing that people forget is NBA has an Africa League now. You best believe there are going to be talents coming out of the NBA Africa League. So, like, basketball is going to get more international. And I was thinking, we didn't talk about this yet, but during the off season, that the American track runner made those comments about, world champions of what. And it's really interesting because I watched Ted Lasso again. I just finished it last week. And when you look at local soccer leagues in Britain and in the UK, they are extremely international. They are not majority British players. They are literally the best players from all over the world. And their teams are made up of a mismatch of players from everywhere. And they still don't call themselves world champions, but that's besides the point. But what I see is the NBA moving in that direction, especially because all the best players in the NBA for the past 7-8 years have been international players.
It didn't help that also the World FIBA tournament this year where they got fourth.
Yep.
And it was just like,
yep.
I still say, like, when you have role players as your team for your world championship, I mean, we didn't have a Kevin Durant and LeBron James there. I'm just
right.
But then again, also that you're supposed to step up regardless, but also there was some great teams. Team Canada. I thought that should have been a gold medal team. I honestly thought that should have been the gold medal team.
Basketball Canada is definitely on the upswing, and I am very excited for it. All right, let's move on to our next tweet. This is from @3Cone. Clippers are out here building the 2010 Thunder alumni team. I like that. And reply to himself, sign Serge Ibaka, LA Clippers.
For real.
That's real. Great.
They get Serge Ibaka and then get Kendrick Perkins out of retirement.
Out of retirement. Oh,
get
can
out
you
imagine? Of retirement. Oh my God. You'd have to take off his fake beard. It's too perfectly put on his face.
I mean, that comes with blackness, though, Taylor. That stuff can happen.
But like, it looks like you just like take it off, and yeah, it looks like a helmet for his chin. Looks like a helmet for his chin.
Alumni. Oh, that was a good one, Taylor. Or Shay, thank you for that. All right, next one. Anthony Puccio, a Pooch. Nets wear these 16 times this season. What do you think of these, Taylor? Yeah, your face.
This is another cash grab for the NBA. That's what I think of this jersey.
You know what? This must be for the tournament. Because I know they're doing so. Not only do we have your regular home and away jerseys now, your two regular ones, we've got city edition jerseys and tournament jerseys.
It's just
this season. I feel like it's getting out of hand.
Oh no, I was okay with the city edition one. I liked that idea a lot.
Yeah. And I don't even mind changing the floor. Like if you're gonna have a special floor for the tournament,
I'm okay with that.
Yes. But like this jersey is terrible. Like why is this?
I have to figure out what the background story is to it.
It honestly to me looks like a jersey that you would wear in a children's league.
Like I
the lopsided letters and the random this belongs in the bad design Reddit. That's where this jersey belongs.
This looks like the font of like a park and rec league for 8-year-olds.
Right? Totally.
Like they should be called like they could be called the Nets because they don't know what else. They weren't creative enough to call themselves a real name. The other team was called like the Hoopers.
The Nets and the
Hoopers going at it. Right next.
Oh man. Yeah. And 16, like who's buying this? Who is buying this jersey?
Kidding.
Apparently this is based on an artist. And the comment that Anthony made on his own post here is that like it would look good on a hoodie, for instance, but
hoodie, I'd snag that.
It would look great on a hoodie, but as an NBA like jersey with the Nike swoosh on it, like what are you guys thinking?
It's too niche, too niche, too niche.
Yeah.
Like to know about that specific artist. Like if you have to go too much into detail with why your jersey is what, that's when it kind of ruins the appeal. And I'm saying that with Timberwolves, you should be able to look at it and in 3 seconds you understand exactly what they were going for. Like the first one that Timberwolves ever had was just like straight gray. And they were like, it's like the concrete jungle of downtown Minneapolis. I'm like, that's dumb.
Lazy.
Exactly. I'm like, this doesn't describe it. And it didn't take until the third time with the, was it the second year when we got the Prince themed ones? Because I'm like, that one makes sense.
Those were great. Yes.
That one.
And I really like
an award.
I hated the neon ones because they were so hard on my eyes, but I love the navy blue with the neon accents for the Timberwolves.
Yes. The neon green one, I don't think we even use that one anymore. That one was our ultimate.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in at least.
Yeah, I don't think I think it got enough of a backlash, and I think also
it's so hard to watch on the screen. Like
I think with also the addition of the city jerseys, I think that's essentially the new alternate jersey is the city edition ones.
Yeah.
Which
all right. Nets. The Nets have had a hard time with their jerseys because their last city edition was not awesome either.
No, I liked the one a couple years ago when it was like Biggie themed because it had like he had all the sweater designs and then that was the outline with it and stuff. I liked that one. That was also when D-Lo was on the team.
You need to get better graphics people, better visuals people now.
Yeah.
Right? So here's our next tweet. It'll be very obvious that this one came from Shay because where else would we get a basketball tweet with Kim Kardashian standing behind Adam Silver? I have to say, seeing Kim Kardashian involved in my game is a massive bummer for me. Massive. I cannot overstate this.
What's this for?
Thoughts? I don't even know. I'm trying to figure that out now.
That's what it is.
Oh, right. Her shoes.
No. No, the Skims thing, like the slimming thing. You remember the clip I sent you and Shay in our group chat where
I don't know if I watched that one because I don't.
Oh no, it's a video. Yeah, it's a video for the ladies.
Yes. You're right. Yes, I did watch that.
Because it's now they have Skims for men's.
But like,
I'm curious if it's for that. I want to know what this dude is. Who's this?
Why would I don't know.
Adam Silver looks real creepy.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander does not need body shaping.
Well, that's exactly why I got confused. I was like, why are we having a man that's already incredibly in shape, built like a Greek god, putting him in something that's supposed to slim him down?
Like, he is in stupid shape already. Why? Like, I don't understand it. I want the Kardashians to stay away from my game. That's all I'm going to say about that. I don't have anything else to say about this.
I don't like how none of them are holding out like the Wilson ball straight out. It just looks like they're all awkwardly holding it to. There's so many things wrong with this. How
so
tall is Adam Silver?
Adam Silver's really tall.
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian's pretty short too, though.
I wonder if he's going to be Voldemort for Halloween. Flatten out his nose and just say, "Oh, Monaco. He's already there. He's already there.
All right. Here's our
next
next
didn't hear
one.
it, but I saw.
This comes from Philip Lewis. Flavor Flav sings the national anthem at a Milwaukee Bucks game. Okay, I'm going to rewind this and I'm going to unmute it because I did not know that.
The singing of the Stargler performed tonight by 6-time Grammy.
This makes me so uncomfortable.
Oops.
Award nominated Flavor Flav.
No.
Oh,
No.
say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly
I can't.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough. I can't take.
I can't stand the song, and it's just making it worse because it's one of the songs that
my body is literally. I can feel the cringe like from head to toe from that because like I sing a lot. I really like to sing. I've learned like almost the whole Hamilton soundtrack, for instance, just because I can. And yikes. Like Flavor Flav, you've never been a singer. Why? Why do you need to do this? You're not a singer. Uh-oh. Taylor must be having technical difficulties here. I know his battery was dying a little bit. I don't know, maybe he didn't get plugged in quite enough in time. But I'm going to keep rolling here. Flavor Flav, please don't ever do that again. Like I can't even listen to the whole thing because yikes. And I'm sure this is definitely why. Thank you, Shay, for telling us not to look at these before we started, because clearly you were looking for a reaction on that. And then this is the last one that she sent us for the week. I'm just, trying to spitball here till Taylor gets back because we have his fast break as always to finish out the show. Oh, I heard the beep. He's coming back. So this is the last one Taylor sent us. Happy Halloween at MLB, Arizona Diamondbacks, who are in the World Series right now. I think this might have been one that we needed Taylor to be here for because I don't really. Oh, I see. Now I get it.
Am I back?
How we doing over here? You're back.
I don't get it. My computer stroked out. Like it's charging. I don't know what happened. But whatever. I'm back. Shady's back. Tell a friend.
So here's the last tweet from Shay. The Arizona Diamondbacks. This girl in this dead because of this.
Yes, I remember this so vividly.
Right?
It happened. I was watching the Timberwolves game, and then after it, they were doing like a sports recap of the day, and like the chances of that happening is like the like
astronomically low.
Yes, like you could get electrocuted and eaten by a great white at the same time, more likely than him. Exploding, not killing, exploding a bird.
So and that is like a pretty. That's a pretty dark.
His name is Randy
couples
Big Unit Johnson.
Randy Johnson. I've never been a huge baseball fan, but I know who Randy Johnson is.
I just like his.
That, Say
his
again.
entire name is Randy the Big Unit Johnson. That's a pretty sexy name. Randy the Big Unit Johnson.
I mean, it seems
Okay.
a little bit overcompensating, maybe. But yeah, that is a pretty brilliant, also
he's
very
6'10".
dark couples. Say again.
Oh yeah,
Dark
he's
couples
6'10".
Halloween costume. Yeah, he's huge.
Yeah,
Huge.
he takes now. I think he's a sideline photographer for the NFL now or something. Yeah, he's
Really?
into photography.
That's
which
an
is
interesting
crazy.
post career. That's
Yeah,
an interesting
did
post
you know
sports
that?
career.
Yeah, did you know that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was a writer for the show Veronica Mars?
No,
Yeah.
I totally watched that show
Yeah.
growing up when it was. Really? That's crazy.
Yeah, I thought
That
that
is
was nuts. Okay.
That's a deep cut right there for the trivia, Taylor.
That
And
was-
with
yeah,
that,
I-
that's our segue right there. Throwing it back to you for the fast break, Shay. Thank you for sending the tweets.
Fast
Have an
break time.
amazing
Let's pull
night
up my notes.
have an amazing night at the concert tonight, Taylor or Shay, sorry. And yeah, on to the fast break.
Okay, so first question. So fast break, where I have 3 questions that Jade and usually Shay, when she's here, have zero knowledge about, and I'm going to see if I can stump them. Last week I was 2 for 1. Nope, I was 1 and 2.
Yeah,
You guys,
but
both,
you had to scramble for a new question, so
yeah. Okay. So first question. Which team is the most valuable franchise currently? Is it A, Lakers, B, Celtics, C, Warriors, or D, Knicks?
I think it's the Warriors.
Warriors, C?
Yeah.
You are correct. With the $7.7 billion cost. Knicks are a full billion
Second.
less with 6.6. Lakers third with a 6.4 billion, and then Celtics drops down to 4.7 billion. So, all right. So
at least it's not still the Knicks first, even though they were first when they were absolutely terrible, which made me crazy. So I'm glad to see that someone has dethroned them.
Okay, so second question. So we've been talking about the international boom today, especially. How many countries are represented in the NBA as of opening night? A, 35, B, 33, C, 38, or D, 40?
Damn. I'm going to say 35.
It is 40.
Really? That's sick.
6 different countries. Or 6 different continents.
That's amazing. I love hearing that. The more international basketball becomes, the better it's going to be.
Oh, yes, exactly. So then you get players like Luka and Giannis that are talents that we would never see, but now can.
Joker.
Okay. Yes, Joker. How could I forget that one? Last question. Pop has been with the Spurs for now 27 years. How many coaches have there been in the league total since then? A, 259. B, 338. C, 287. Or D, 307.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to say 307.
You got it.
Yes.
There's been 307 coaches since Greg Popovich became a head coach.
You said you were going to destroy me, and I went 2 for 3.
Okay, but those questions though.
Those are good questions. Those are
Were
excellent
okay.
questions.
The Warriors won, yes. That Spurs one. That last one was a guess.
It was totally a guess, but a win's a win, baby.
No, yeah, exactly. Okay. Don't act like you were like, oh, whatever. This was an easy question.
No, I gave you your props before I answered it.
There was one that was going to involve OKC, but I thought I'd hold back on that one.
Still Shea's back.
Yeah, with it. Yeah. Which, oh man, we gotta watch out for OKC in the Western Conference too right now.
OKC is going to be a massive issue 2 to 3 seasons from now. Massive issue.
NBA TV loves talking about them.
They
love talking about them.
They are so young and so talented at the same time. Like,
oh yeah.
Man, oh man.
SGA is going to be a starter at the All-Star game this weekend and will be, I'm going to say, top 4 for MVP voting.
I think so too. That's why I picked him for MVP this year.
What? Oh, would you rather have SGA or Ja Morant?
SGA.
SGA, okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking that was kind of a simpler, but I just wanted to check because usually Ja Morant has the hype, but SGA, like, come on.
I don't think people understand how young he still is and how far from his prime he still is.
I wonder if there's any Clippers fans that are like, could have that.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Haven't done anything with this. Well, Paul, what are you doing? You're doing your podcast. Get to practice. But all right. Well, today's been fun. Thought without Shay, I thought maybe we'd be able to cut it a little bit shorter today, but she is in Philly to see Will Smith perform, so she needs to get back to the Millennium Tour, but she'll be back next week, just like Shane, Jade and I. See, I'm messing up names now too, but just like Shay, Jade and I will be here next week, and it's just going to be just as much fun, more NBA content, and more hard-hitting information. Okay. See you later, folks.
Peace.
Time.